The story begins at Blackwater Lake in Arizona. A girl is swimming peacefully in the calm water. Everything seems fine until something dark and strange starts moving behind her. Before we can see what happens, Johnny suddenly wakes up. It was just a dream, but a scary one. And the girl in his dream, she's actually his friend's girlfriend, Kitty, the same girl Johnny has a huge crush on. Everyone in the friend group knows this, even if he never says it out loud. Johnny sits up and remembers that today is special. It's the last day of college. All his friends had planned to go hang out at a nearby lake owned by Johnny's uncle. Without wasting time, Johnny gets ready. When he steps outside, his friends are already waiting in a car, honking the horn. He jumps in and they take off down the road. While they're driving, something awkward happens. In the back seat, Matt and Kitty start kissing, and it makes things tense. Simon, who is driving, keeps looking at them in the mirror instead of watching the road. Suddenly, a truck comes too close and they almost crash. Everyone screams, but Simon manages to steer just in time. Matt, feeling guilty and a little scared, tells Kitty to sit in the back and tells Simon to keep his eyes on the road. Finally, they arrive at the lake. It's quiet, peaceful, and surrounded by trees. The group pulls a small boat over to the shore. While they're setting up, Johnny takes a moment to talk to Kitty alone. He pulls something from his pocket, a small locket. He tells her, "This was my mom's. She always said it keeps people safe. I want you to have it." Kitty smiles and accepts the gift. Just then, Uncle Perk, the owner of the lake, shows up in his boat. He looks serious. "What are you doing here?" he asks Johnny. Johnny explains that their college just ended and they came to celebrate. Uncle Perk frowns. "This is a bad idea," he warns. "You know it." Johnny nods and promises, "Don't worry, Uncle. I won't let anyone go into the water." Uncle Perk doesn't look convinced, but he slowly sails off down the lake. Even though Johnny made a promise, things get harder to control. Matt suddenly says, "I'm going in the water." Johnny tries to stop him, but Kitty and Deb also want to join in, laughing and pulling off their shoes. With everyone pressuring him, Johnny gives in and watches helplessly as they run into the water. Meanwhile, Simon, who always acts before thinking, starts lighting a firecracker. Johnny notices just in time and runs over to stop him before anything dangerous happens. While everyone was having fun, their boat suddenly started to shake, like something was hitting it from underneath. All three of them, Johnny, Kitty, and Deb, got a little scared. Johnny especially felt nervous. But then they found out it was just Matt playing a prank. He had been hiding nearby and was only trying to scare them. Kitty and Deb laughed, remembering the silly times they had in school. But then, something actually hit the boat again, and this time, Matt wasn't close enough to be the one doing it. That's when Johnny looked down into the water. He saw something strange swimming below, something big, and it was heading straight toward them. He shouted for everyone to come back quickly. Matt didn't listen at first, but when he saw the thing moving fast toward them, he began to panic. Kitty, Deb, and Johnny all saw it too, and they hurried to get out of the water. But just as they did, Deb felt something grab her leg. She was pulled a little farther away from the group, but they managed to pull her back up in time. Now everyone understood. Something was down there, watching them. Scared and confused, they tried to use their paddles to defend themselves. In the chaos, Simon's paddle got stuck on something and slipped out of his hands. Deb reached into the water to try and get it back. But at that moment, a huge fish, looking like a giant piranha, as big as an SUV, came out of the water and bit her hand. She screamed in pain. There was a deep wound and blood started pouring out. Johnny quickly took off his belt and tied it around her arm to stop the bleeding. They all knew that without that paddle, they were in serious trouble. They could be stuck out on the lake for hours or even days. So now Matt tried to get the broken paddle, but just then, the same monster fish appeared again and tried to bite him too. Instead, it grabbed the paddle in its mouth and snapped it into two pieces. Now the situation was worse. The group realized this was no joke. Their fight for survival had begun, and they knew that if anyone panicked, they could die. While all this was happening, Iris had been recording everything on camera. But then she noticed that Deb wasn't moving. Everyone rushed to her and tried to wake her up, but it was too late. She had died from blood loss. It was clear now this vacation was nothing like what they had imagined. Johnny tried to make a phone call for help, but of course there was no signal. And if there was, the story wouldn't be this terrifying, would it? Just then, the massive piranha-like creature came back, this time clearly visible beneath the surface. It was huge with sharp fins and teeth like knives. When Simon saw it, he panicked and shouted at it, cursing loudly. But instead of scaring it away, the creature turned sharply and charged straight at the boat. Simon braced himself. As the monster approached, he grabbed a sharp wooden stick and stabbed it as hard as he could when it came close. The force knocked Simon off balance and he fell into the water, but his friends quickly pulled him back in. Everyone was relieved until they saw what had happened next. The creature was furious. It slammed into the side of the boat with full force, and this time, it cracked a hole in the bottom. Water started rushing in. The paddle was already gone, and now their boat was slowly sinking. They had already lost Deb, and now it felt like they were all just waiting for their turn to die. The sun was burning above them, and the heat made everything worse. Everyone was panicking except Johnny. He sat there quiet and strangely calm. Matt noticed this and snapped. "You knew something was wrong, didn't you? It's written all over your face." Johnny shook his head. "No, I didn't." But then Kitty spoke up. "You gave me this locket, and you said it would keep me safe. Why would you say that unless you knew?" There was silence. Matt lost it. He grabbed Johnny and started to push him toward the water in anger. That's when Johnny finally admitted it. "Okay, yes, I knew something was off. My uncle warned me. He told me stories about this lake, about something living in it, but they sounded like old tales, nothing real. I didn't believe them. That's why I brought everyone here." Everyone froze. His words hit hard. They were trapped in the middle of a deadly lake because of him. Then Iris, who had been silent until now, spoke up with a cold idea. "What if we use Deb's body to distract it, throw her into the water? While it goes after her, we use that time to paddle away with our hands." The group fell silent. The idea was horrifying. Deb had been their friend, but now she was gone, and everyone knew. No one wanted to end up like her. After some painful silence, they agreed. Not because they were cruel, but because they wanted to survive. With tears in their eyes, they placed Deb's body in the water. It drifted slowly, and moments later, the creature appeared and dragged her under. All of them started paddling with their hands, trying their best to move the boat toward the shore, while the giant piranha was still busy with Deb's body. They hoped that if it stayed distracted, they might just escape, but the creature was starving. Hardly anyone ever came to this lake, so it hadn't eaten in days. Now with all these people here, it didn't want to let anyone go. It wanted more. To buy more time, the group threw all the food from the boat into the water. Chips, snacks, even unopened cans. But it wasn't enough. The piranha wasn't full yet, and the danger wasn't over. That's when Iris spoke up again, her voice low but cold. "It's only letting us get this far because it's been eating. If we want to survive, we'll need to give it another body. And I think it should be Johnny." Everyone froze. "After all," she continued, "we're in this mess because of him." The group stared at her, shocked. They had known each other for years. They had laughed, cried, grown up together. But now panic was changing everything. At that moment, the piranha hit the boat again, creating another hole. The boat was slowly sinking, and fear started to eat away at their trust. Simon, trying to calm the group, suggested, "Let's vote. That way it's fair." One by one, they voted. Most of them chose Johnny. But instead of arguing, Johnny just looked at his friends. He didn't blame them. "I brought you here," he said quietly. "It's my fault." Then before anyone could stop him, Johnny jumped into the water himself, hoping his sacrifice would give his friends time to escape. The piranha quickly went after him, and soon Johnny was gone. The others used that chance to paddle a little farther, but after a while the water around them went still again. Then they saw the creature return. Simon, exhausted and desperate, said, "We need another distraction." Everyone understood what he meant. He was looking at Iris. Iris realized what was about to happen. She stood up and said, "Wait, before you do anything, I need to tell the truth." She turned to Simon. "I saw your girlfriend with your brother at that hotel last summer. They were cheating on you." Simon's face twisted with emotion. He didn't want to believe it, but deep down, maybe he had always known. Still, he kept his voice steady. "Then it's better if I don't go back." He reached out to Iris, pretending to comfort her, but in the next moment, he and another friend pushed her into the water. She screamed, but it was over quickly. The creature grabbed her, and once again, the group paddled forward, using their hands, silent, knowing they had just traded another life for a few more minutes of hope. After everyone left, the piranha returned and slowly devoured Iris, as if enjoying every moment. Her camera captured the entire thing, until the creature ripped it off and let it sink into the lake. Meanwhile, Johnny made it to the shore by swimming. Though betrayed earlier, he now had the chance to save his friends. As darkness began to fall, Simon urged Matt to hurry. They wouldn't be able to see much longer. Matt, who still felt sad about Iris, his old classmate, was unsure of what to believe. Simon reassured him, saying, "I'm your real brother." Matt believed him. Soon after, Matt found an axe in Johnny's bag, and hope sparked again. But then the piranha, still alive, attacked. They managed to fight it off, spilling enough blood to make it retreat. They thought it was finally dead. The group cheered Kitty's bravery, but they were even more relieved when they heard the sound of a motorboat. Johnny was returning to help. Still hurt from his last experience, he said they'd vote on who boards first to keep it fair. Kitty was chosen, and Johnny tossed her the rope. But just then, the piranha struck again. hitting the boat. It began to roll and the rope wrapped tightly around Johnny's neck. He struggled to breathe. The others could have helped by cutting the rope, but they didn't. Johnny died, betrayed once again by the people he tried to save. As a storm rolled in, the remaining three tried to pull the boat toward them, but it flipped in the wind and the rope snapped. The boat drifted away into the dark water. They were right back where they started, alone, helpless, and haunted by what they'd done. Stuck again in the same hopeless situation, Simon came up with a new plan. He suggested breaking the boat apart to make paddles. They tried, but the boat was sinking even faster now. Knowing he and Matt wouldn't vote against each other, Simon manipulated him, claiming Kitty had only used him and that Iris was right all along. Though Kitty had never said anything like that, Simon wanted her gone, and he got what he wanted. They both voted her out. Kitty fought to stay above water, but neither helped her, and then she vanished. They were stunned, unsure where she'd gone, but Simon wasn't done. He even turned on Matt, trying to kill his own brother. A struggle broke out, and Simon was knocked into the water. Matt, still loyal, jumped in to save him, but Simon betrayed him too, pushing him straight into the jaws of the piranha and swimming to shore alone. To his shock, Kitty was still alive, waiting for him. She asked why he had thrown her out. Simon lied, saying it was just an act to fool Matt. As she leaned in to kiss him, Simon grabbed her by the throat and drowned her, coldly saying she deserved it. Just then, a light shone through the darkness. Uncle Perk had arrived. Simon tried to fake innocence, saying the piranha killed everyone else, and he barely survived. But Perk held something in his hand, Iris's severed hand, still gripping the camera that had recorded everything. "I knew Johnny since he was a boy," Perk said. "He didn't deserve this, but you do." Perk raised his gun and shot Simon. As Simon collapsed, the piranha returned one last time and dragged him into the depths. And just like that, the nightmare ended. The lesson? In the end, no evil goes unpunished. If you enjoyed the story, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace out.